and then just out of nowhere.
Be the best.
Oh, let's see. Let me do a couple loopity-loops.
I've watched those. Those are tough.
Yeah.
No joke.
Yep. Yep, I'm good.
Let's see here.
So are we doing a YouTube one, or is it going
Nope.
to be a Twitch?
Twitch.
Twitchy. Okay.
There's the twitching Twitter. Twitch.
No, Twitch is live right now.
Twitch TV. Fandom with Floyd Bill Man.
Yeah, I'm already here. Sitting here eating ice cream. On Bill's Twitch.
Not too used to being on here. You want the truth of it, so I'm trying to make an adjustment, and it's wanting to stop me from changing the name. Same thing it always is. Fandom with Reploid Bill. Why is it stopping me?
I don't need your stupid broadcast invite, Bill.
No, that's not it.
I see a spinning wheel of death because my computer hates that.
Oh yeah, I got it too.
I'm watching the stream just fine.
Do.
There we go.
Nah, it happens. I don't know, how is it ad-free music brought to you by such and such a company? Make sure you go to such and such a company and check out all their fantastic deals.
Wow, I'm very confused here. I know I haven't been here for long, but since it's fighting me, this video is not actually going to have the proper name until we're fucking done, because it does not want to work with me. Keeps telling me I'm not using a Twitch-supported language. You know, like English.
English, Movo.
I guess.
Nah, basically what that means is the fact that even though you're trying to stream currently and you're actually, like, the stream is live and everything, it's fighting with your PlayStation right now, which is kind of fucking stupid, considering the fact that, well, let's see. You've already done, like, what, 3 different...
Technically, I've done 7. I only bothered to save 2.
Fair enough, huh?
But I've noticed that I have to name them after I finish them. It always seems to carry the name, like during the broadcast, it seems to carry the name of the last one that I did. And I have no clue why it does that to me.
On the Twitch page, it's telling me it's Spider-Man Homecoming Review spoilers.
Well,
Yeah,
if it's working that way, then I'm fine with it. It's just my stuff. Let's do this and see if I can fix it. I'm attempting to fix it. I fixed it. Haha, look at that. It's fixed. What's
Nice.
up? Put what? What? Oh.
No, it does not.
You want me to, anyway. I know. I saw you. Every now and then I would. Every now and then I would look.
What? Oh, 7?
Every now and then I'd look over and I'd catch you fucking watching me, and I'd be like, he thinks this is funny. This isn't funny. I was like, I got a lot to say tonight when we get there.
Okay. Okay, so here's something weird. It was at like 6. Actually, it was at 7 people in the watching the stream, which I'm assuming is most of us. And then there's one random little thing over here saying total views 35.
Yeah.
How is there 35 views on this one video?
I think technically that is my channel views.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
It's not really an ouch. I've just started.
No, that doesn't
here.
make any sense. Because no, that can't be right.
Not sure what else it would be.
Fuck, oh god, this sucks.
Oh,
How is there fucking nobody over here helping me?
because
Okay,
Because
so
nobody's on a
terrible.
team.
No, I'm playing as Wolvie right now, but there's like 13 heroes in here, but none of them were like over here helping me fight these 3 Sentinels and the fucking Omega Sentinel.
None of those heroes like you.
Wolverine.
So who all's on the
It's
actual
Yeah,
game?
motherfucker. I
I'm
am.
switching over to it.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I was about to say everybody but Nick. Well, and Shane, because Shane's still trying to download, but
I
yeah.
just said I'm switching over to it.
I know, I heard. I'm still trying to kill Sentinels, goddammit.
Well, then Nick doesn't count as one of the people not in it, because he's switching to it. You stupid fat fuck.
No shit. Holy fuck.
Jesus.
And me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Captain Asshole.
Yes.
Do 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 do. There we go.
Bill has entered a block scene.
Uh,
I had to send a party invites, and it doesn't want you. It doesn't want the chance that somebody might see that I have a friends list,
yeah.
because that stuff is private. I could play with. It's weird. Like they worry about weird dumb stuff. To be fair.
I kind of get it, and I kind of don't. Some of it, you might have friends that, might not want to be found, but you would imagine they just put in like a subroutine for it, so that way then, oh, go to my settings. Yeah, nobody can find me if they're streaming.
What's up? You will be able to get on, yes, but you will only be able to play the first chapter, which is fine, because until you know who you want, you can use anybody up to level 10. You're usually about level 9 or level 10 by the time you finish the first chapter.
I
Yep.
don't see
So that's a perfect
either of you
opportunity
guys.
to test
Where the hell
out
you
some
guys at?
characters.
Avengers Tower.
That's where I'm at.
I'm in the middle of doing a mission right now.
No, I mean, like, legitimately, I'm in here in Avengers Tower, but nobody's here with me out of the team.
Oh, that's because we would all need to team up, and then
Oh,
it'll
there's
put us
Scott.
all on the same
No,
server.
he
and
just
instance
wasn't
and
where I
shit.
was.
Yeah, over here.
Oh, okay.
I'm over here at the
By
pool.
the. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I didn't fly up here.
Legendary marks, those mine, those mine, those mine.
Do what now? Yeah,
Yep.
up to level 10. Yeah.
Except for Daredevil, who comes free for just downloading the game. He can go up to like level 60, which is the max level, and then after that your experience goes towards getting the Eternity Fractal Crystal thingies for the Eternity Gems. However, once unlocked with one character, you can then start using them with any character, period.
Oh, wait,
Like-
that reminds me. I need to switch characters, don't I?
Why?
Just hold on.
Okay,
This would be great. You'll love this.
it's fine. We got about 4 minutes.
Because he's Batman.
Oh, man!
What?
I need a Spider-Man loot box for that. There we go.
Oh, you would.
Oh, wait,
You
wait, wait.
fucking would. I'm not even
Wait,
there
wait.
yet. I already seen it.
Hold on. There we go.
Hold on, let me drop my shit off in the... You idiots.
There we go. Yeah.
To be fair, this
Apparently
is
I'm
not the
not at the
character I
same
really
HD.
use. The character I
Well, don't
normally
be an
use
asshole.
is Kitty Pryde.
Okay, let's try this, because that might be the other problem. I was in fucking hardcore difficulty and not regular.
Spidey
And you guys are
twins.
still not fucking here. What the shit?
What were you in the second difficulty?
I just switched it down to normal. I'm literally standing next to the pool. Oh,
Not with
wait.
us.
I know what I did.
Nah, 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 nah.
No. I
You're
forgot to
not
do
even
the
in our team.
invite. There we go. Yep, exactly.
Nah, 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 nah.
Like I said, if you're not on the team, you can't see nobody. There we are.
I imagine that it is. We are about 3 minutes. And I need to check
Finish the
where
download,
that
yeah.
puts us. No
I don't
shit.
know why you're doing
Whoa,
why you're doing all that bitching.
Gwen,
I was
what are
doing
you
that the
doing?
other- Yeah, what the fuck? But yeah.
Right now we're just spamming
Oh,
logos
you
above
would.
our head while we wait for the 15 minutes.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get the fireworks out.
Oh, you guys are. I'm making magic circles.
Hold on. Let me
That is true. He is
roster.
doing that.
And there you go.
I am Doctor Motherfucking Strange.
Okay.
But Nick,
All right.
Isn't the max team size 4 though?
piss. That
Don't
actually
remember.
is a good question.
But are you signing into it right now? He'll have to go through the deal, but I guess I could send him the invite. It shouldn't affect us that he'll have to go through the the tutorial.
Yeah.
I'll send him the invite, so the stream's gonna go away for a second. There we go, sent. And we are now at 15, so here goes. This is episode 73 of Pages of Fandom, and tonight we have watched Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes, we did.
So, Reploid Bill, William Bush,
Seth Lovell-Sario.
Scott Action Jackson.
Nick the Lone Paladin. I'm back, bitches.
Okay, so for anybody that is interested at all, I have been doing the live streams over here on Twitch, and this is primarily how I'm getting some of this content out here when we can't get together. I stream these live on my channel, which is Fandom with Reploid Bill, and then they go up on the podcast. So if you're ever interested, sometimes I post on the Facebook and you can actually get in on these things live. So, we saw Spider-Man Homecoming.
It was awesome.
This will be a spoiler conversation because I don't feel like we can edit this as we go because it will actually mess us up. I feel like we'll kind of step on ourselves and not be able to really talk about everything we want to talk about if we don't just be 100% spoilerific. We're just going to talk. So yep, whoever wants to start.
If you folks are listening to the podcast later or watching this on YouTube at a later date, pause the damn video, go see the movie, get your happy ass back here, and hit the play button.
Yeah, that's a very true statement right there.
Yep.
You have been warned. And if you try to go, oh my god, spoilers, blah, 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 the first fucking chunk of it, nothing saying, by the way, spoilers.
Spoilers.
You have been warned.
That's a true statement. Hardcore
Or
true
Bill.
statement.
Future Scott or future Bill. Insert spoiler warning here.
Okay, so who wants to start, or should we just say, let's give the initial impressions here. Something simple. Just let's say
Michael
somebody
Keaton
came in.
did a very good job as the Vulture.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was also a good Spidey guy.
I think he was very likable, and he has a lot of charisma. Yes.
I love the fact that somebody actually called him Spider Guy.
So much that he was a good Spider-Man, that is up for debate as to how extreme you get into the comics, because he wasn't an asshole. And I know that sounds weird, but Peter Parker is kind of a prick.
He can be.
He's not can be. He very often, Peter Parker is the kind of guy that, in fact, other people will mention it later on in his comic book. If you've been reading, if you read from the very beginning, there are other people from his high school years that will tell you that, they'll talk to him and they'll be like, you were really stuck up and kind of standoffish. And he'll be like, what? Because he won't understand what they mean. But, I mean, even when he got the powers, you have to remember that, now we don't get to see this part of Parker. I'm going to put that out there before I even start talking about this. In the original, when he got bit by the spider, the first thing he did was take care of number one. He started talking shit and roaming around, and I do for me, and look at all this money, and blah, 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 and I'm so great, and fuck everybody else. And one night, that attitude got his uncle killed.
Mm-hmm.
So, we didn't get to see any of that. We are definitely stepping into a Parker that is already established as Spider-Man, though somehow he's never fought a supervillain and seems relatively untested.
Not your dad's Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's definitely the Spider-Man set for this Marvel Cinematic Universe and not the previous Spider-Men before.
Yeah. Okay, look, because I'm probably gonna sling shit.
You might as well go first then.
Well, I was actually about to jump in. What I was going to say is, to me, this movie feels the way that for anybody who actually got a chance to, because it's only 4 fucking episodes, so if you don't have 2 hours, then meh. But for anybody that's actually sat down and watched all of the Castlevania series off of Netflix, this movie felt to me the exact same way. It's very enjoyable, but if you are a hardcore fan, you'll be like, oh, well, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's way fucking wrong. Oh, there's wrong. Well, they did that spot on, and that's kind of right. And that's, all right, that's close enough. Oh, that's way fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that, it's almost the exact same thing to me. Like, both of them are highly enjoyable, but if you are a diehard fan like Bill is, or like Scott is, whoo, be ready to throw some hate and rage.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's not quite hate and rage. It's more like, what? Why?
Yeah.
See, but here's one of the things that's we're look. This is going to be a bit of a podcast. One of the things that I am not attempting, but I know sooner or later, me and you, Scott, we might even clash a little bit here, because it is literally blowing my mind that you hated Batman v Superman as much as you did, and you seem to be way more accepting of this spider mockery than I am. 'Cause holy shit, like, first off, you don't like Miles Morales.
Oh, yeah.
That's who this was.
Yeah.
That's exactly who he was. He is the fat fucking friend that he talks to, the quote-unquote guy in the chair. He's very much a young, established Spider-Man that we got no real information of. He just showed up. They don't talk about Uncle Ben anywhere. Anywhere. We got fucking Uncle Stark.
Uncle Stark.
He doesn't have a fucking spider sense.
Oh yeah, that's kind of an issue to bring up.
Yeah.
His strength is wrong. He can't jump nearly as high as he's supposed to.
Yeah.
His fighting style is pretty good. That they got pretty much spot on with the way that he leaps around and does things like that.
Well, we saw that in the Civil War movie too, so
there's no J. Jonah Jameson. There's no Daily Bugle. Like a quarter of his supporting staff is either missing or so unbelievably unrecognizable that I was completely dumbfounded. Like, that kid is Flash Thompson. I don't care. You could change his ethnicity all you want. That wasn't what bothered me. Yeah, he's not. His character is just wrong. He's like a brain, and he's super smart. He's in like the advanced classes, and he's more of like a
he's more of Amadeus Cho.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cho is basically like Peter's fucking rival. And, oh yeah, super smart. Oh, really, Parker? It took you that long to get this science project done? Come on, man. I had that done after, dinner last night. What the hell's wrong with you? That type of shit. Like, yes, he still had, the I'm Flash, I'm all important, cocky asshole to him, but yeah, he was way fucking
calling
wrong.
him penis.
He was being an asshole to Parker, so that part carries over. So
yeah, they missed they missed a joke that would have been very easy when they do the penis Parker joke. They could have at least acknowledged the canon of the comic books where, for a while, Stan Lee screwed his name up and called him Peter Palmer.
Oh, yeah. That actually would have been a damn good callback.
That would have been a good way to call to the books, which they didn't even attempt something like that. For me, there was way too much Tony Stark. Hell, the very first scene of the movie is Tony Stark. It opened on Tony, and it ended on Tony. And Tony is the inspirational moment. He's the one that gives Spider-Man the chance. He's the guy that does the tough love. He's the guy that taught the lessons. He's the guy that saves him.
Technically speaking, though, I gotta call you out on one thing, because technically, yes, Tony is the official last scene in the movie, but
Captain America was the
last
last
scene is the very last scene. Is Cap being like, how many more of these do I have to do? And it's like, alright, fair enough.
Patience.
Well played.
Patience could pay off. Or you could feel like you completely wasted your fucking time.
Yeah.
Way to troll, Marvel. Way to troll.
So, okay, look. The Vulture was pretty strong. Okay, I'm fine with that. I really think that he worked out. Man, there's so many different parts of this that I'm strangely iffy on. This movie bothered me in a lot of different areas. For one, the Spider-Man costume that he's wearing is very much in touch with the Spider-Man suit that he wears today in the comic books. Fucking taser webs and exploding web balls and an interface that can talk to him and night vision goggles and all kinds of dumb shit that he doesn't fucking need. He's not supposed to be Tony Stark. And then they gimmick weird stuff like the spider signal, but he didn't fucking use it. All he did was shine it on a wall once. And it's not just that. It's not just that. It's the other thing that drives me fucking crazy is that Spider-Man is not his own fucking hero. He's not his own self,
it's
man.
Iron Man 3.5 or whatever.
He didn't learn anything. He didn't do anything for himself. The suit was handed to him. The webs and shit are basically handed to him because he wasn't even using his own web shooters. They were modified Tony Stark devices. So he didn't make his own suit.
Technically speaking, what they should have done is just given him the fucking Iron Spider suit.
He didn't have that. That's fucking in the movie.
Yeah, it's towards the end. He offered him the Iron Spider-Man suit from the comic Civil War.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. They should have just given it to him for the entire fucking movie. Just been like, yeah, here's the Iron Spider. Go walk, run around on the fucking legs and shit.
Now, I will say, the girl that was playing as Liz Allen, I bought that. She did start to feel like Liz Allen as the movie went by. And after they did the name drop, and I really started thinking about it, I was like, hey, that does work. Let me tell you something right now. Let me just drill it in here. For anybody that nitpicks things like Batman v Superman and is okay with the fucking atrocity of character layout that ran through this movie, the Vulture is not, has never been, will never be, and should never be Liz Allen's fucking father.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those weird, stupid plot twists.
When he opened that door, I will admit, I was like, oh shit! But then right after I said, oh shit, like, that's a pretty good moment for a movie, and it does fit in with the Spider-Man idea. Spider-Man plays on irony. It really does. Yeah. It's always like, this is my best friend. His dad is a supervillain. My best friend goes crazy, and it causes this kind of situation. And it always plays on irony. Always. Like, he sells pictures of himself to the Daily Bugle, and the Daily Bugle fucking hates him, and he's basically writing his own obituaries every time he turns in a picture. That's the irony of Spider-Man. They play on that. They always have. They always will. That was in this movie. But that Vulture thing they did, No. Also, they introduced the Shocker to kill him immediately, to give his weapons to another guy, to make another
and
Shocker.
The other guy, yeah.
Almost as if to say, the Shocker is such a worthless fucking villain that we don't even care. We don't even care. They introduced Matt Gargan, so already we have the future set up for a Scorpion, but we have no... I don't know how... Look, that's going to be a weird storyline too, because J. Jonah Jameson is the reason he became the Scorpion, but there's no JJ. So that's going to be a completely new storyline that they're going to have to script into this new universe as well.
And then there's also the other problem of, oh, well, he also becomes Venom, which then, oh, also becomes Flash, which, oh, also becomes Eddie Brock, which, oh, by the way, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
I get that they didn't put an Eddie Brock in the movie because he's in high school. So that's good and fine. That really is. That's good and fine. I would like to say that the movie is enjoyable. It's fun. But it is quite possibly the most inaccurate representation of Spider-Man that we have ever received. And they threw away certain scenes that should have not been used this soon. Like, they used the iconic lift where he's trapped under the building and he lifts up the rubble and escapes, and he escapes only because of the great inspiration that Uncle Stark gave him.
Yeah.
He's not as strong as he should be, for damn sure. He doesn't, like, they were like, oh no, you've only got like so many seconds or something like that. Like, you've got like 3 minutes to make it up the Washington Memorial. And I was like, okay, well that's fine. He could scale that in no time. He jumps once and then just like spider crawls up the thing, barely making any real movement. Oh yeah, and he slips. What is wrong with his powers? Why can't he hold on to the wall?
Oh, shit. Got you a Ghost Rider, did you? You're running away from us.
He can't hold on to the wall. I don't know why. He slips. He has trouble climbing. He doesn't jump as high as he should be. He's definitely weaker than he was supposed to be. He doesn't even use his own stuff or make his own suit.
Except for his makeshift suit that he had.
Right, which literally makes a cameo. In fact, his suit, the self-made Spider-Man, his web shooters and his suit have less screen time than Tony Stark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell, it has less fucking time than the fat dude who drives the car.
Right.
Fucking,
it shows up. Yeah. It shows up at the very end for one fight scene, and then that's the end of it. Oh, and by the way, I had a bit of a bitch fit a while back when we watched the Power Rangers, and I'm gonna say it again. Keep your fucking mask on. Stop taking it off all the fucking time. The Vulture didn't need to know who you were. I mean, it's fine, I get it. They did the little scene where he's like, I know who you are, and I'm going to threaten you now. And first off, if he'd have fucking done that shit, where he turns around and he's like, blah, 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 you don't fucking know about me, and I'm Spider-Man. I'm going to web your hand to your own car now. Then I'm going to web your mouth shut. Then I'm just going to call Tony and be like, got the Vulture guy. They already know who he is. Hell, the FBI's looking for him.
Yeah.
He's going to be like...
one fucking phone call, 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, this is Spider-Man. There's this Vulture guy. He's located at this place. I need you to get a hold of Tony Stark for me.
I ripped the engine out of... Yeah. I ripped the engine out of the front of his car and webbed his hands to the steering wheel. He should be no trouble.
They'll just need to be here in 2 hours.
Right.
Because that's when the webbing dissolves.
The reveal of Mary Jane fucking sent. I almost saw red when they fucking name dropped. That pissed me off.
You mean Michelle Jane?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Michelle. My friends call me MJ. Wait, I didn't think you had any friends.
Dude, the fact that they drug her around the whole movie, I remember sitting there being like, I feel like she's important. What does that mean? I feel like she's important. And then they did that. They all of a sudden name dropped, and they were like, hey, check this out. It's Mary Jane. And I was like, you bitches.
Uh-huh.
That killed me.
Which, don't get me wrong, when I thought she was just like some random side character, and they go to the prom and everybody like waves at Peter except for her, and she like flips him off, I was like, I like this girl. This girl's fucking awesome. And then you get to the end, it's like, yeah, just call me MJ. I was like, no.
Right.
You have officially lost all love from me.
I've heard an argument lately in comic books. I've heard this from the Crawl Space. I've heard this from multiple Spider-Man comic books, comic book reviewers in general, that Marvel doesn't know who Spider-Man is. That somewhere along the line they've lost touch with who Spider-Man is and what he's supposed to be, and that's the reason that the comics are suffering the way they are today. That it's not just Dan Slott, that they really don't know how to handle him anymore. And you know what? Maybe that's true.
Yeah, it kind of is from what I remember reading last.
Because what I just watched today, while it was an enjoyable movie, and I really want to stress that because it is fun. If you like Marvel movies, this fits into their continuity and it works well and you'll enjoy it. But that is not Spider-Man.
It's not the Spider-Man, it's a Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it's a Spider-Man.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there was one major part where literally like I turned to Nick because it's the scene where he goes to like chase after the one guys and there's literally no buildings and no trees. Like he's just out in the burbs.
Right.
And he just starts running and Nick starts laughing. He's like, what does Spider-Man do when there's no buildings or trees? I was like, he calls Leo Pardon. That's why he exists. They need to make Leo Pardon up in this bitch.
And while me and Seth were giggling, you just hear Spidey go, "This sucks." It's like, yes, it does, buddy.
Those moments were funny. They did that well with adding the moments that were enjoyable and were humorous. It's a Marvel movie. It really is. Is it a comic accurate movie? No. I could also make the argument that no comic book movie yet has really been accurate, but I will also say that Spider-Man is probably the most hardcore, inaccurate portrayal of any Marvel character on the screen thus far. Like, he's wrong. He's wrong in almost every single way. That kid is enjoyable, and he's very charismatic, but
I don't know. I'd almost have to fight you on that because I don't feel like he's the worst, but at the same time,
tell me some jokes.
I feel that it's definitely
tell me some jokes.
on par.
Tell me some jokes.
I'm saying it's on par with the third Sam Raimi movie when it comes to inaccurate Spider-Man.
No, I could laugh at the Sam Raimi movie. I'll bet you he dropped some jokes in there, and to be fair, that's not supposed to be Spider-Man. I don't want to defend the Sam Raimi movie at all. You want the truth of it. But I will say this. Yeah. In the Sam Raimi movie, he's supposed to not be Parker anymore. He's infected.
Yeah.
If he feels different than the other two movies that we have seen so far at that point, there's a reason. He's supposed to. This guy, tell me a joke. Tell me one fucking quip that he dropped after the, hey, you guys aren't the Avengers, and there's another fucking problem I have. This is going to sound like a hardcore nitpick, but I'm going to say something.
Oh, he's missing stuff from the trailers.
He's from fucking New York. He's from New York. And in the previews, they gave him the fucking New York accent, only to take it away from him for the movie.
Yep.
This would have been the very... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're going to go on about the stuff missing from the previews, what about that shot of Iron Man and Spider-Man swinging and flying towards the camera?
It was made specifically for the trailer. That I'm not surprised about.
Yep.
I expected that a third of the trailer would not show up because it was made specifically for the trailer. I knew that. But... Yeah. But what they did the same thing. They've done this twice now at Marvel, where they've done a preview where you hear the voices and you think, this is going to be sweet. Ultron had a magnificently awesome voice, only to get to the movie and make me be like, whatever, I'm done. That's not to say I didn't like Ultron, but listen to his voice in the original trailer.
The no strings on me thing.
Yeah, it's menacing. Yeah. It's scary. It catches you immediately. You're like, oh shit, this is serious shit. Like, this guy sounds crazy. Then you get to the movie and they altered his voice. He didn't sound like that. They did the same thing with Peter Parker in this movie. In the previews, he's using a New York accent, which would have been the first time ever that we got Peter Parker from New York, lived in New York, born in New York, does everything in New York. He would have had a New York accent. They took it out. Even the scene that was in the fucking trailer, hey, you guys ain't the Avengers, is gone. He spoke in fucking right here in the good old Central of America, exactly the way that we talk. Hey, you guys aren't the Avengers. That pulls a piece of the character out. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just clearing my throat because I had something caught in it.
No, I mean anybody. Because you could drop 1,000 nitpicks on this. I think the movie's good, but there are little things that drove me crazy about it.
Like the fact that it took Spider-Man so long to climb the Washington Monument.
And the fact that Tony Stark just keeps showing up.
And the fact that he has no spider senses.
Dude. The first time he got hit, I said, okay, he's surprised. He's surprised. That's part of Spider-Man, is that he's young, he's ambitious, he doesn't know how to be a hero, he's going to screw up, and he's going to learn from those mistakes. I said, that's good. That's good. Then I started to notice that he never once dodged a bullet. He always disarmed the enemies.
Yeah.
He always avoided the weapons through his webs and his movements preemptive, not warning.
Yeah, especially with that ATM robbery thing. It's like, he got hit by some of the weapons, and it's like, if he had the spider sense, he would have noticed that was happening.
Even if the first time it would have hit him because it does the weird gravity thing, and if it would have been like, oh crap, what is happening? And then he would have known... And it shouldn't have happened. They got him with the gravity gun 4 fucking times. That is hardcore amateur hour.
Yeah.
They got him with the gravity gun. He was like, whoa, what is going on? They threw him against the wall. Then they grabbed him again and threw him against the ceiling and the floor and the ceiling and the floor and the wall and the window. Then they grabbed him again and he webbed the floor and got rid of the gun. Like, fuck that gun. Fucking webs the gun and moves it. Then the guy grabbed the gun again. Because Spider-Man still hadn't really gotten away from the gun. And he shoots the gun against the window, and then the gun fucking malfunctions and shoots the laser things everywhere.
That was a different gun that went malfunctioning and shooting lasers.
You know, there's one thing I kind of wonder here.
No, I thought it was the gravity gun, because the gun that blows the hole in the wall is the...
grabbed the cutter gun. It was about to shoot.
That is not what I'm talking about.
Oh, no, wait, about that.
That's not the one I'm talking about. When his webs were coming in contact with these guns, they would start doing that line-off thing. Because they do it again on the boat, and it cuts the boat in half.
Yeah, but the gravity gun wasn't the one that blew up everything.
No, but it started to malfunction. It starts doing the crackle thing and some of the lines come out, and then the guy, while Parker's watching that gun, that's why the dude got to the other gun and was like, pow, and shot the cutter thing. That's how that moment came to be, was because Parker was watching the gun malfunction due to his webs.
There's something I probably got to bring up here. How long has Parker had these powers now?
He's had them long enough to become an internet sensation, and they're saying he's 15, and I'm guessing that he got his powers around 14. I'm going to give this Spider-Man at least a year on the field.
So 1 year.
Has to be long enough that Tony Stark knew he existed, by the way.
So if it's 1 year, it means that he might not have fully understood all of his powers yet.
No, because he had the spider sense as early as the second book.
No, I mean this movie Spider-Man. It's only been a year.
I'm misunderstanding where you're going with it. That he doesn't have it because he's not developed.
That's what I was getting at. It's like maybe he doesn't have everything fully developed. Maybe he's still figuring some stuff out.
I guess, but the books never had him do that.
Yeah.
He never figured out his powers. He got bit and he got them. So while that's a possibility,
Yeah.
it's not one that makes a lot of sense to me. Because if he has to develop, I would imagine the things that have to develop are like spider strength. Probably no, it doesn't. It just doesn't. No movie has done that yet. This would be the first one ever to say that he had to get stronger because he's a kid.
And in this movie, there isn't hardly any detail about the spider bite.
They're being completely ambiguous. They haven't even said Uncle Ben's fucking name.
I mean, they mention maybe a situation with Uncle Ben dying, but not by name.
Yeah, just that. Aunt May is like, we don't talk about that at all.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, and then it gets to that point where Aunt May keeps calling, and she's like, I called and called and called and called, and nobody answered, and you didn't pick up, and nothing was going on, and I called everybody,
Then I called
and nobody
5
said you were
different
there.
police departments.
Yeah, and with all this stuff going on the ferry, you can't do it. Right then and there would have been the perfect opportunity. I don't like this crap after what happened to your Uncle Ben.
Right, but they didn't.
Done. That's all it would have taken.
And they're being ambiguous, and I don't know why. You can't do Spider-Man without Uncle Ben. He is the cornerstone. Let's say we do Batman, and he was adopted. Adopted by fucking Alfred. Oh, well, see? There it is. You wouldn't want that to happen, because it's not fucking right. The fact that we don't even mention Uncle Ben once ever in 2 different opportunities now bothers me.
Up.
There's no Uncle Ben, there's Uncle Stark.
Okay, let me go into ripping and talking about this movie then, since I'm the secondary Spider-Man fan here.
I'm just along for the ride tonight because I like the movie. I like the AI. Karen
I didn't.
was cool.
That's Tony Stark.
Don't care.
That's not Spider-Man.
I still thought it was cool.
Yeah, you're entitled to like whatever you like. To be fair, you're fine. Because look, I'm gonna like different things. You're gonna like different things. But when you do a movie like this, and we have waited for years to see Spider-Man. And what did we keep saying? Marvel's going to do him right. Marvel's going to do him right. That's why we wanted Marvel to get Spider-Man. As far as I'm concerned, Sony can fucking have him back. Because they were doing him better.
Yep.
Where the hell is Osborn? Where is Oscorp? Where's Harry? It's fucking Dragon Ball Z. Fucking Goku went to high school and he was never friends with Krillin.
Evolution.
Supposed to.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
People are on the hype about it, though. I think I'm the first person, like, we're like the first two people at all to bash what was done here. I have not heard a negative review online yet. Everybody seems to think this was the greatest fucking Spider-Man movie ever made, that Marvel knocked it out of the park, finally Spider-Man is right. Who's that fucking fat kid? Who is that guy?
His name is Ned.
That's a problem too, because you look his name up, that is not Peter Parker's friend. Yes, he is a guy in the comic books, and he is not Peter Parker's friend. And yeah, and that fat kid is the same guy who's friends with Miles in the Spider-Man book. Scott said that it's possible he hasn't developed yet for some of his strength and jumping and stuff like that, but that would be, to me, the only thing that ever had to develop on Spider-Man ever was his skills. He had his powers overnight. In any continuity that has ever existed, be it comic books, be it Ultimate Universe, be it TV shows, be it actual shows, even the fucking newspaper, he had his powers overnight.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's actually another thing, too, is that Aaron kid, the dude that, who's the comedian that played him? I don't know, anyway, the dude who was trying to buy the guns and was like, I don't need that, I just need a fucking 9mm so I can hold up a couple grocery stores.
Right.
I'm looking to blow up the entire fucking, downtown district. Like, that dude, every time I saw him in the fucking trailers, I kept being like, that dude's gonna go to school with them, and that's gonna be fucking Miles, and Peter's gonna be like, getting chewed out by Stark, and next thing you know, the same shit's gonna happen to that dude, and then you're gonna have fucking Peter and Miles running around, or some shit like that. Like, be like, look, Miles, you take care of New York, I'm gonna go be an Avenger, type of shit.
Yes. By the way, Tony Stark, before we even go into this, Tony Stark playing Big Brother, that's one thing, but by the continuity, if you're gonna tell me that the reason this Spider-Man is different is because the continuity of the universe is different, here's my problem. If we go by the continuity laid down so far, the initiative, the Accords, that's not just for the Avengers. If I'm not mistaken, that is essentially an act that says superhuman hero vigilantes are supposed to register, right?
Yep.
Then Spider-Man showing up and telling Tony, nope, it's not for me. Doesn't Tony have him by the balls already to just simply say, actually, kid, the Accords claim that since you're already under my tutelage and I made this suit and I know who you are, you're an Avenger, and if you don't like being an Avenger, well, then there's another option. The other option for you is prison. And the reason I would say this is true is because Ant-Man got to go to prison. He didn't just go to normal prison, he went to off-the-radar, big, giant, crazy submarine prison.
Yeah.
Because because he was against the Accord.
Yep.
Spider-Man is now against the Accords.
I think the issue there is the age.
Juvie Accords.
Yeah. Juvie Accords.
You could break the law at 13. You're still going somewhere.
Yeah. And even at 13, if you break a, hard enough law, like
the Accords, a federal prosecution.
Yeah. Even as a minor, you get to go to jail.
Right.
Well, in that instance, because of him and Bruce.
So far, Tony has been indirectly responsible or directly responsible for every situation in his own movies and every situation in the Avengers. He creates villains.
And technically speaking, the villain in this movie.
Yeah. In a way, because he blindsided. Look, he could have blindsided this guy in a different way. He could have come down personally and said, "Hey guys, this is no longer your contract," and he just said, "No, that's bullshit. I bought this machine and everything. It's covered. It's covered. I understand this is a shot in the dick. I get it. I'm paying for your machines. I'm paying for your guys' work. As a matter of fact, I'm paying your wage up to a year for all of your guys because of this inconvenience, because this is a big contract. I realize that, and I'm taking it away from you. So you know what? You're paid. Please go." Tony created this villain. And yes, it is Tony's fault, no matter how we try to do it, because it was Tony's guys that were loading the fucking equipment up and taking it out. Which means Tony's guys, either directly or indirectly, or even through some weird government deal, Tony's guys are the ones that came down there and told this dude, "What? You bought a bunch of Caterpillar tractors? You are literally in debt up to your fucking eyeballs. You're going to lose your kid. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose your wife. You're going to lose your fucking family. You're going to lose your livelihood. And all these guys are going down with you because you put everything you had into this cleanup job? fuck on you, get out.
Yeah, and going back to the, whole thing with Spider-Man, is nothing but irony. Spider-Man is usually the one responsible for creating almost every single one of his villains. He's almost like Batman. He's the reason why most of his villains exist.
I don't know about that because, well, I guess Matt Gargan could be put into that, yeah, and in a way, but
Scorpion kind of Lizard. Keyword is
no,
kind of.
See, that's just it. See, the irony is things like that is his teacher, it is his friend, those kind of things play into Spider-Man, but
Well, true.
But a good portion of his villains are strangely related. There was one of the girls that he liked or had a not so much a friendship. The Hobgoblin came across a situation like that. That was the guy that she was seeing. And when Parker took him down, it screwed up her life. So Parker is often put into the kind of situation where he has to take somebody out or stop somebody or do something of that kind, and it hurts the people that he knows because they're associated. Like, he took out the Goblin, but in so doing, he screwed up Harry's life. He didn't create the Goblin, but the Goblin is ironically associated in Peter's life. But this movie, it's once again another Tony made a villain.
Yeah, technically Tony made an entire group of villains because, like we said, we've already got Vulture, then there's Shocker. Oh look,
and then Shocker
here's
2.0.
gonna come Gorgon. With Gorgon, that means, oh look, Scorpion. Hey, guess what? That's already 3 out of 6.
Yeah, Sinister 6.
And if you want to go further than that, the upcoming problem that we're about to see in the next couple movies, where all these guys are after Parker now, that is indirectly a responsibility that Tony did as well, because Spider-Man was very much street level, just see a bus about to happen, and he was like, I gotta stop that. And he sees a mugger, and he saves a guy on, this guy stole a bike, and he goes down there and he stops him. That was the level Spider-Man was at. It was Tony that elevated this kid and gave him delusions of grandeur.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because technically Spider-Man would have actually started off with the Defenders in the way that the MCU is actually working out, Daredevil.
No, I don't think it would have been with anybody. Because Parker, there's no internet video that indicates that Parker was doing anything beyond, there's a street mugger.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. With the upcoming,
that's not. The Defenders
Netflix
are going to be way bigger than that.
Well, I'm just saying, the fucking Daredevil will be, trying to chase down Elektra, and, next thing you know, Parker's trying to stop a mugger, which, they just so happen to run past the mugger, and Spider-Man's like, hey, why are you chasing that lady? And it's that type of bullshit, where it's, oh, hey.
Right. Right, but see, Daredevil did have, he might not have started with an agenda, but he got a big level agenda as his show went on, where Spider-Man, we see the internet videos, and it's very obviously that this kid is untested. We're seeing it in this movie right now. He is untested. He does not have, how do I put this? This Spider-Man that we are seeing in this movie has never seen a supervillain, and he's never dealt with a situation that he couldn't instantly handle. Ever.
Yeah.
But it was Tony that brought him in and told him, hey man, you could be great. And it's because of that he decided that rather than... Because, okay, Spider-Man's been around for a little while. I promise you Spider-Man's been around for a little while. Because the talk about him and everything makes it very apparent that he's been in the universe long enough that Tony was able to track him down. Because he was like, I've been hearing this rumor, and I see this video on the internet, and I don't think it's fake, and I'm going to go find this Spider Dude for my team. Well, that means that Spider-Man has been around for a while, and he hasn't developed, really. He's not big enough to have fought supervillains or had any real storylines for himself. And so that makes me feel like had he run into the super crazy weapons guy while he was, being Spider-Man Christmas Noir, like, I do not feel like he would instantly run after that guy, and proof of that is that the Avengers and other heroes are running all over New York, and there are big giant events taking place, and Spider-Man doesn't be like, I gotta get down there right away. He idolizes the Avengers. He watches them on TV.
He wants to be an Avenger.
Right. But he doesn't, if he really wanted to be an Avenger so bad before the Tony got his fucking mind all on the set for that, because Tony's pretty much the one that's like, hey, you'd really like to do this, it'd be great. You're an Avenger now, come on in. By the way, you're not really an Avenger, you're working towards it. Like, it's that changes that aspect immediately, because if he was really worried about it, if he really wanted to be an Avenger from the beginning, one of the events that was taking place, because the Avengers are all over the place. They're all over the place. They deal with enemies in New York. They have adventures that we never see. They're known around the world. By now, Spider-Man just would have swung onto the scene when he saw one of them.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He never has. Because he was street level. And he was one of those guys that knew, hey, I can help here. I can do this as far as this storyline goes for the Parker that they're creating. But then Tony's the one that came along and said, you could do more, you could be bigger. And he was pretty much turning Tony down in that aspect. He had to be convinced and swayed. In fact, he wasn't even going to be a part of this Avengers Civil War until all of a sudden he was like, I'm going to go tell your Aunt May on you.
Blackmail.
Right, he was blackmailed into becoming the Spider-Man that we see in the movie currently, right now.
Yep.
Which is a very different setup than, one day Uncle Ben died, and I feel like, this and this, and I have a responsibility. Responsibility really wasn't mentioned ever.
Yeah, that's a bit disappointing. I mean, even in the Amazing Spider-Man movies,
right,
it wasn't really said that way.
But it was mentioned, and Uncle Ben was a determining factor for creating the Spider-Man. Where here, nope. There's no Uncle Ben. There's fucking Uncle Tony Stark. Shouldn't be Uncle Tony Stark. Tony Stark should not be the driving force behind Spider-Man. Ever.
Now, to me, I agree. There's a lot of issues as far as like connections to the main source with this Spider-Man, a lot. But I was glad with the little nods of the main source here and there, especially the opening with the Spider-Man theme song.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was neat. Now
That was a nice little nod.
I just sat here and I am dogging on a lot that I didn't like about this movie, but just to give a little bit of understanding here, because we do have a guy in the room that just commented a couple of times, and he's letting us know right now he thinks the movie was really good. And I will say, because I don't think he was in here when we first started talking, the movie is really good. If you want a comic book fan and tear the shit out of this movie, it's easy to do. In fact, I think it's easier to tear into this movie than any Marvel movie made as of yet. in terms of being a fanboy and what they got wrong about the character.
Yeah, I mean, like we've already mentioned, the missing spider sense, the fact that there's no Uncle Ben, which is carried over from the Civil War appearance.
Right.
There's a lot that doesn't make sense as far as like the main source, but then again, they were trying to make a fun, good movie for people to watch, which they did accomplish.
Yeah, but so did the other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
But
and
they
they
had a lot
did
of
have
material too.
Yes, but the Sam Raimi movie took its liberties here and there. Like the Sam Raimi did
Organic
not believe
web shooters.
Right, but here's to defend that. Sam Raimi said it doesn't make sense that some high schooler is first off creating webs, because scientists today would love to be able to create web, like real legitimate biological created webbing. Parker, right now, if he's able to do that in his high school chemistry class where he just makes web, he's sitting on a gold mine.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He could be rich tomorrow.
Oh, of course
But he
could.
has no money. He has no money. He's barely making it.
But knowing Tony Stark, he could get some. Could.
And, yeah, like, you couldn't have at least said, hey, Tony, sell this. I need monies. Need to take care of my aunt and whatnot. We could tell her that I'm getting paid for whatever it is that I'm doing for you.
Yeah, I mean, even that right there, I think he tries to watch out for his Aunt May, which is the main source thing, and wanting to do things to help her out, too. But in this, it's like Aunt May's become more of an annoyance.
I've heard a lot of
I feel
people...
like this Aunt
Go
May,
ahead.
though... I'm sorry, yeah.
No.
No, I feel like with this Aunt May, they're trying to make it more like that Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever, the one that they're doing on Disney XD, where, she's not like, the old maid that we all know from, like, the 90s Spider-Man or, the old comics or even the Sam Raimi movies. It's like she's supposed to be like the new millennium, fucking I'm having a midlife crisis, I'm going to go do Pilates and, make sure I'm not eating too much,
Here's the
this,
thing.
that, and the other.
Aunt May was... these characters were designed pretty much by Steve Ditko. There was an understanding of what Stan wanted. Steve Ditko was the one that really put down the artwork, because Stan was looking for a very specific looking kind of hero and things of that nature, and Ditko was the one that came in and said, well, we'll make him lanky like this and blah, blah, blah. And he's pretty much the one that set that little foundation for that first Amazing Fantasy book. And May appears in that. And May looks like she's fucking 86 or some shit, like super frail, tiny woman. Now, realistically... if we're going to break Aunt May down and justify her for this new Marvel Universe, this lady makes more sense than Aunt May ever did.
Yeah, especially in, like, sophomore high school.
Right. Parker is 15. Let's assume that his mom had him as late as 30. His mom would only be 45. Was his mom's sister fucking born 30 years before she was? I'm going to imagine no. So the sister that got her sister's kid left with her would be in what? Her 50s? Near 50? I mean, really? Well, how old would you say is Parker's mom? If Parker had a mom today, how old do you think she'd be if he's 15? Just random argument.
Late 40s, early 50s.
To me, it would matter on how old she was when she gave birth, though. That's
our argument.
Point.
No, that's our argument. How old do you think she'd be?
For that, go with like 25.
She has the kid at 25. It's been 15
which would
years.
Make her 40.
She's 40. Now, let's say that Aunt May was the older sister by 6 years. Aunt May's only about 46. The actress who's playing Aunt May is an older lady. Yes, she looks great.
My cousin Vinny days.
Exactly.
Well,
so that's what I'm saying is Aunt May is right. She fits perfectly. She's the right age. She never got to the point where she was just like lazy sitting around, and because she stayed active, she still maintains that good health. That's fine.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with Aunt May. Nothing is wrong with the Aunt May character in terms of her age, for damn sure. I think it's more accurate than when Ditko made her an 86-year-old lady.
well, as a technicality, that's still even a feasibility.
What?
My mom's the youngest of 8. One of her brothers is pretty damn close to, he's.
What? You cut out.
Did you? Oh, sorry. I don't know why.
You
I
cut
said-
out right when you said the number.
80s.
One of my uncles is close to his 80s, if not already in there.
Okay.
So it's not an infeasibility that, Aunt May could be, an 80-something-year-old lady.
But you're also talking about a family that had multiple kids, where throughout the course of the Parker family, as far as we've been able to tell, there's Aunt May, Uncle Ben, and then Parker's parents, and that's it.
Yep.
So unless they had a kid, waited 30 years and had another, it doesn't make sense that their age is divided by 30-something years. Because we've seen Parker's mother in both the books and the shows and the movies. And oftentimes, when we see her, she's probably in her 30s, and Parker is usually portrayed by a child, and he's usually somewhere in, he's somewhere around 10 or something. Or like 8 or something, even less than that. Sometimes he's 5 or something, and they kill his parents.
Yeah.
And then his parents die, and he goes with Aunt May. And when he goes with Aunt May, the thing that never made sense to me is that he goes with Aunt May, and Aunt May is already like 58 or some shit like that.
Yeah.
The span of time has never made sense to me. Aunt May never made sense to me. I never understood why she was such a frail little old thing. And here's the reason why she was a frail little old thing. I'm going to tell you exactly why. They needed drama for the book. It's not that it made sense. It's not that it was something that was even 100% really intentional. It was that they needed a way to add drama to the books, and Stan liked the idea of Spider-Man's in trouble and his Aunt May really needs that heart medicine and she might die, and that would be a lot tougher to play off with a woman that's in her 40s.
They did that quite a bit in the comics and the Spider-Man 2 movie too.
Right, because you could do that because she was a frail little old thing. So you were able to play off that angle, which the book needed. So unless they're going to play that angle in the movie, it makes more sense for Aunt May to be where she is right now. She's in her 50s. And 50, in case you're like a young guy and you think 50 is hardcore old, there are wrestlers older than 50.
Oh, yeah.
And they still wrestle. So it's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal. Hell, I think the oldest woman wrestling right now is in her fucking, 70s? I'm not saying it makes any sense, but I thought there was like a 69-year-old woman that got put through a table in a wrestling match.
Well, I know one of the oldest ones that were wrestling was either Mae Young or Fabulous Moolah.
And
I
she's...
forgot how old.
Because
forgot how old she
Spencer
was.
talked to me about that when I was asking
think it
him
was in the
how
80s.
old. Yeah, I was asking how old women. Because I was like, I'm all for equality, but let's be honest. I was like, where a guy might wrestle into his 60s and he's all torn up from wrestling that long, but he does do it. Like, how long does a woman wrestle before she before she's done and she goes out? Because I know that that's hard on the body. And to be fair, in entertainment, I don't know if
I would
people would be
say-
okay with throwing around a 70-year-old woman. And then he's the one that told me, he was like, they put an old lady through a table during a wrestling match, and she was a wrestler. And I was like, how old? And he says, like 80. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, never mind then. Fucking Ric Flair, that old lady all the way.
No, I'm looking it up right now. Mae Young died in 2014 at the age of 90, and I know the moment he's talking about, that was in about, what, maybe like the
2000
mid-2000s?
Yeah, maybe 2004, 2003?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so see, that's what I'm getting at. This Aunt May is fine. There's no reason to be so pissy about... I've heard a lot of people that are like, I shouldn't think that Aunt May is attractive. She's fine. I think people get a little too attached to youth, and I think people over-exaggerate what age really is.
Well, I just think that this Aunt May looks odd being younger than the normal Aunt May.
And she does look odd. She's a little striking. Yeah. But realistically, if we break it down, this Aunt May makes perfect sense. She is in the age bracket to where, had she had Parker, had that been her kid, that's about where she'd be.
Yep.
And of course, if you want to go that route, there's a comic out there explaining where Peter could be hers.
Yes, yeah, I remember that, where they revealed that Aunt May actually might be the real mother.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna put it on there, if Aunt May is the real mother in the comic book timeline, when the hell did she have Parker? When she was fucking 71 or some shit? Like,
No.
because I mean, in the comics, it's ridiculous. In the first book, she's a hardcore old little lady. Like, she's fucking in her 80s. So this movie, in terms of Aunt May, I really don't see an issue. I think she's fine. Parker is fine. I don't think he's believable as a kid, even though the guy's like 25.
Yeah, for me, he does an excellent job with what he has for Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Yeah, but I just wish Spider-Man would quip a little more.
Yeah, that's the main issue, is the lack of jokes, and like we keep mentioning, the spider sense, and so much stuff that's missing from the normal Spider-Man persona.
The way Parker deals with stress in those situations is making jokes. And he was very, very serious, like, through most of this movie. Anytime he put the mask on...
Jokes.
Yeah. About the only time...
the Avengers joke and then the fairy joke.
Right, yes. Yeah, there were two major jokes. And then you could say something like, oh, well, you know, he was making jokes when he tried to interrogate that guy and everything. But no, he was actually trying to be really serious until he realized he looked like an idiot. And then he didn't fall back to jokes. Yeah, he didn't fall back to jokes at that point. He just became Parker. He just started talking like Parker talks, which is not right, because when Peter Parker puts on that mask, he becomes a different person. It's always been that way.
Yeah, I mean, with the costume, well, the Tony Stark's costume, first costume, it gave him that Batman-like voice to change it.
Actually, I noticed there's a bit of throws at Batman in that movie.
Yeah, like when he goes to steal Flash's car and is like, give me your car.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh man, they're taking jabs at Batman.
Oh no!
Well, I think
What?
in general, I think they use Spider-Man just to take massive jabs at DC in a whole.
I don't think they attacked DC.
That's really what this was.
I think literally they were making fun of the CW. I really do, because some of it is aimed at DC, but very, very, very little. But when he started making, like, jabs, like hero jabs, it was definitely aimed at the CW in general. Like, the guy in the chair remark, that was specifically about the heroes. Like, everybody in the CW works the same way. There's the hero, and then there's the 4 or 5 guys that are like his support group that run tech and shit like that and tell him how to be a hero.
I'm sorry, every single time I just hear the word superhero and support group put in the same sentence, I always just think of a bunch of superheroes sitting around like at an AA meeting going, yeah, my name is Derpington. I'm a superhero. Hi, Derp.
But I was about to say, it's like, well, there was maybe a few more jokes and jabs made by Peter during school. So,
Okay.
like talking about Captain America. It's like, yeah, I met him. I stole a shield.
Like, one thing that was driving me a little bit crazy was that even when we got the self-made Spider-Man, at the very end, when he became Christmas Noir, we never got to see how any of it works. Like, how does Parker do this on the budget that he has? Because obviously he's stealing from the school to make the webbing. But can he really just, like, mix webbing in a jar and then somehow, like, how's he bulleting? How's he get it into the bullets? And things like, you get what I'm asking? Because we see him mix the web.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what
how
we
does he
don't
make
get
the
to see,
cartridges?
what we don't get to see is how did he make the cartridges? How does he, like, none of that stuff is there. And I'm very confused at, like, what's going on.
Yeah, not much explanation about his gear and stuff from his homemade costume. So,
Yeah. We don't know how because I think the eyes in the homemade costume even moved once. And that confused me when I seen it happen, because I was like, wait, what? How does that work? Like, Parker knows how to do that? And then, obviously, those were the other web shooters. But we don't get to see him reload those web shooters, so we never get to see, like, how those work. Because Spider-Man customarily has a type of utility belt on his waist, which that's always been questionable to me, even in the comics, because obviously we can see his fucking 12-pack, but somehow he can lift his shirt up, and his muscles just magically turn into a belt, and he takes one of the cartridges off and puts it in the web shooter. And I've always just left it alone because comic books, but it would have been nice, since he did have a baggy sweatshirt on, if we would have seen him use one of them. Like, in the comic books and in the cartoons and things, because he is low-key, he would often use things like that where he'd pull one of the canisters out and, like, throw it as hard as he could, and it would, like, explode, and that's how he would get the grenades and shit.
Yep.
But in this, he never even reloaded the web shooters once he became homemade Spider-Man. So we don't get to figure... The only thing we know is what Tony did. And then he dismantles Tony's suit, and we see more of what Tony did. But we never see anything that Parker did. As far as the Marvel Universe is concerned so far, Parker did nothing for himself that they can explain anyway.
yeah, the only thing we know is that Peter created a costume at some point and started working on some gear.
And we know that he made web shooters. We don't know how, but that's fine. That's fine. If they don't want to tell us that part, at least those web shooters are there. But oftentimes in the books, we saw him working with the webbing. We know how he loaded the cartridges and how he did things like that because we watched him do it. In this, they kind of cut away from a lot of things. Once he became Spider-Man, they just kind of said, okay, well, now he's Spider-Man and he has this stuff, and because. And then there's another problem that really, this irritates the hell out of me. It really, truly does. When he turned Tony Stark down, I said, I get it. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie a lot of respect now, because now, the next time we see him, he will be the Spider-Man. He will be the self-made, fucking, this is my responsibility, this is what I have to do Spider-Man. We'll be there, we'll be where we're supposed to be, but instead, Tony sent him the suit, so he still has fucking robot suit. And robot webs, and fucking Tony Vision.
He doesn't have the Iron Spider-Man suit from the Civil War, he has the first Tony Stark one.
Right, but he still got sent the robot suit. So he's still very much the Peter Parker that we know from the comic books today. Electro webbing and fucking iron woven spider protection and, you know, just
spider drone from his chest or whatever.
And night vision and super scanners and I can hear people from far away with my technology and
I can record it and stuff like that.
He has all of that. So once again, even moving into the next movie, he's still not a self-made hero. Everything is still being done for this kid.
But he's staying mostly in New York.
Which, that's good.
Spookland stuff, yeah.
If they try to back him towards street level, that's good, but we're still looking at a Spider-Man that gets all of his techs and supplies from Stark Industries. And that's another question, too. Now that Stark's sending the suit, did he send him a lifetime supply of webs, or does he, like, order those on Stark.com, or fuck is going on with that?
Stark.com.
Maybe that's another part of the tuition thing. With
right.
Stark
you mean
Industries.
the internship?
Yeah.
So we're coming pretty close to the end of this episode, so let's cover three massive moments. One, Aunt May knows he's Spider-Man.
At the end of it, yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? End of movie.
How do you feel about that?
Too fucking soon.
Yeah, I'm right
I agree,
there.
It is too soon.
I feel like we needed time. Right.
It was a funny moment, but it's way too soon.
I laughed as well. I did laugh as well, but I'm with them. I think that Spider-Man should have had time to be Spider-Man and have a couple close calls that would have made Aunt May
think that he is.
Because when Aunt May discovers it, in the actual books, this is around the time that John Romita Jr. was drawing Spider-Man. And when she figures it out, it takes multiple books. They have multiple conversations about what Spider-Man is, how long Parker'd been doing it, what kind of dangers are actually involved, whether or not she's actually okay with it. And she even gets to a point where she tells him, I know I can't stop you. You're a grown man now, and technically this is your decision, but this is the way I feel about it, Parker. And we're not going to get
I have some
that.
of those comics still, so.
Oh, so you have some of the run I'm talking about.
Yeah, of her discovering Peter being Spider-Man and being shocked and stuff, and trying to come to terms with it.
She finds him in his bedroom, bloodied and beaten by the Hunter.
And the Spider-Man costumes on the floor, messed up and bloodied and beaten.
She picks it up, puts it in a paper bag, and takes it with her. She doesn't wake him up.
Yep.
She calls him later and tells him, Peter. And he's like, yeah, Aunt May. Because he woke up and his spider suit is gone. And he's like, what the shit? And he's trying to figure out what he did with it. And she's like, we need to talk. You need to meet me. Don't give me an excuse. You need to meet me, and you need to do it right now. We need to talk. Though that is not going to be the same thing, because this happened way too early.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be more of like, you can't, I don't want you doing this, and he's going to be like, oh, but May, funny jokes.
Yeah, I mean, even the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies had more time for Aunt May to hint at that she might know.
Yeah, I think in Spider-Man 2, I think there comes a moment where we figure out that this has been going on for a while. And she knows what Parker's doing. She's not dumb. And
Yeah.
she knows who he is. And also, she sold his comic books. And remember, he was keeping all those sketches of when he was designing the Spider-Man costume. That's one. We don't see his picture in the paper anymore. And she's basically talking directly to Parker. And she's like, sometimes everybody needs a hero. And she convinces him to be Spider-Man again. Directly. That's not just like, hey, let's talk about something that I know philosophically. She very blatantly talks her nephew into being Spider-Man because she knows. And you can tell that she's already dealt with it in her own way.
Yep.
And then
Yeah, I was about to say, the only thing I can think of, sorry, but yeah, the only thing I can think of is they might be moving towards that shit where, like, I can't remember if it's directly after the first Civil War or if it's, like, somewhere near the beginning of the second, but, like, Tony basically builds, like, another mansion that's supposed to house, like, it's like a high-rise apartment type of thing that's supposed to house, like, everyone who's classified as, like, Avenger level status type of thing. Like, Spidey's living there with Aunt May and Mary Jane, and Luke Cage lives there, and fucking Wolverine lives there, and fucking, like, technically Daredevil could live there, but he's like, fuck that, I gotta go live in Hell's Kitchen.
Well, considering that Spidey was on the run after Civil War, the first Civil War in the comics, yeah. I don't think that was happening.
That got really confusing because Civil War was really big, and the Spider-Man comics continued while the Civil War was going. So there's a lot of shit that happens in his continuity that if you try to plug in the Civil War, it gets confusing as to when whatever was happening was happening. So that's a different argument about, right? Completely. It's a, oh man. I would also say that Aunt May also knows in the Sam Raimi movies because there's that part where Parker says, hey, I thought you'd like to know that, Kane is dead. And she's like, what happened? And then he says, oh, Spider-Man fucking killed him. And she almost plugs up for a second. She's like, wait. She's like, Spider-Man doesn't kill people. And but this is coming from the same woman whose only source of information for Spider-Man is the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
And who isn't necessarily compelled by one time her having her life saved that Spider-Man's this big, great person. She's okay with him now, but she wouldn't be completely enthralled like, oh no, Spider-Man's a great guy. Nothing they say about him is ever true.
Yeah.
She knows that's her nephew. But this movie, I think that was too soon. So, 2. Or actually, before we go on to our things, we just talked about the Aunt May thing. We just got a comment on the sidebar here. 1, Spider-Man versus the Vulture, final battle. What do you guys think?
I thought it was actually pretty awesome.
It was a good battle, but it had moments where it felt similar to the first Spider-Man battle against Green Goblin in the first movie.
You kind of felt that way too? Because especially when they crashed and he took his mask off, that immediately put me back in the first Sam Raimi movie where I was like, put your fucking mask on. We don't need the Goblin thing again.
It was when the wings were flying around separately. It's like, okay, I'm waiting for him to get impaled by his wings.
Right.
I was actually waiting for the wings to detonate on him. And then they did. I was like, ha ha!
Well, I mean...
But on the plus side, on this one, at least the villain didn't get killed off like Goblin did.
Yes, this is finally we're starting to see some villains that go to jail. Because Marvel and DC both have a problem with this where the books won't kill anybody because think about the franchise. but like
Although
the
they
movies
kill
can't wait to
occasionally.
kill people.
Yep. And for me, when it come down to the vulture thing, that was literally the first definitive moment that showed me, where the fuck is the spider sense? Because it's all that smoke, and like you said, he pulls off the mask and he's staring and he's like, yeah, I did it. And like, all of a sudden here comes Vulture and it's like, really? You didn't sense that shit?
No. As far as
Like,
I could
at
tell,
all?
it doesn't exist. Because he got hit by
'cause
car
Nick-
doors,
I
punched
said
by
that to Nick
lasers.
even. Yeah, I turned and I said it to Nick. I was like, where's the spider sense?
Oh, yeah,
And Nick
yeah.
goes, well, he probably doesn't know how to use it. And I'm like, motherfucker, Peter Parker went to a hospital and the spider sense started going nuts on him because there was a dude with a cold in the waiting room.
Right. The spider sense does not tell him where danger is, only that danger exists. And he does
Yeah,
have to
it's just
learn to
nearby.
trust it. But he doesn't even so much as mention that it's even happening, and we're never given any form of indication that the spider sense is working ever, because Spider-Man should be able to dodge danger when it's coming like from behind him. But he was constantly surprised, taken off guard, and like thrown off balance by attacks that quite literally I could have seen coming, and I don't have a spider sense.
Now, wait. Was there much of a spider sense in the Amazing Spider-Man movies?
Yes, he was able to
Yeah,
dodge
there was.
bolts of lightning, which means he was able to react at the speed of light. And the only way you could do that is if you know that light's coming before light's coming. And he did.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, now I remember it from the second one, but it's like,
Yep.
ooh, I don't remember that much from the first
Oh,
one,
and the
though,
first
so-
one. The first one gives you an indication that the spider sense is working when he wakes up in the morning and his senses are on high alert of everything. Because technically there's danger all around us all the time. And our sensory input, if we had something that just said, something around you is dangerous right now, he has to learn when it is real danger and when it is just perceived danger of the world around him. Because my TV is dangerous. My cell phone is dangerous.
Yeah.
That fly on the
power
wall
strips
might have...
in your house is dangerous.
Yeah, the fly on the wall is dangerous, and in that first scene in the first Amazing movie, he's sitting in the bed and he's looking at everything, and everything makes him jumpy. He hears a tiny noise, what the shit? And then he sees a bug, bzzz, and he's like, oh my god! And he's like, he doesn't know what's happening, but for some reason he has an immense sense of danger all the time, and he can't figure out what's going on, so he's like huddling in his bed. That's the spider sense. In this, he's been Spider-Man long enough to have honed it.
If he got it right away, though.
He should have. If they're holding
Yeah.
back on that and claiming that he gets it later, that's just one more inaccuracy.
Yeah.
I did think it was a good fight. I think it was kind of neat having him fight on the plane. It's something that really I don't think we've seen yet in the MCU. I don't think anybody's had a fight like that.
Speaking of the plane, that's one major thing that I feel like they needed to like address. I'm hoping it's like a deleted scene on, when the Blu-ray and DVD and that comes out. 2 engines fall. They're directly over New York City.
Nothing.
He didn't stop
Nothing.
to fucking pull them into the, into the bay or anything. He's just, the engines are falling off.
I don't think Shane
He
heard
had
me.
bigger fish to fry.
I don't think Shane hurt me. I don't think Shane heard me when that part came up, because he kept looking over from time to time to see how I was reacting. But when the engine fell out of the plane and started falling towards the earth, I was like, oh, Spider-Man killed somebody.
Uh-huh.
Somebody,
Yeah, the
more like
first-
bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he
first
could've-
engine flies out. It's like, that demolished an entire building. Way
That
to go,
that would have been
Spider-Man.
one of those instances where when the thing started falling out, like he could have webbed it, pulled it towards him, and then like done like a thing with the web shooters, where he could have been like and created a spray real fast that kind of created a parachute, and they could have gimmicked the parachute right then and there. He's like, I can't let that shit fall to the ground, and so he webs it, pulls it with everything he's got, and as it's coming up, he shoots a big line of webs, creates a blanket, and then connects the 2 strings to it and lets it fall. And if you're talking about a guy that's supposed to be fast enough to react to lightning, then I would have no problem believing that he could react that quickly to something like that. So I wouldn't even have been like, oh, that's not real.
But he was also having issues doing web shooting on the plane with all that wind and stuff too.
But he could have shot off the back of the plane. It would have given his webs even more distance.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the fact that he just let 2 engines fall to Earth, that, I mean, I get it.
He was also having issues sticking to it, so...
Collateral damage and yada yada, and it's very exciting, but yeah, that got me a little bit when I saw the engines, and I was like, damn, this is a good fucking plane, because it's still a-going. And was the plane completely automated? Like, you know what you're fucking transporting. You can't send one dude. Where the fuck is War Machine? Where's Falcon? Where's somebody, motherfucker?
Well, Rhodey is crippled.
Rhodey has an Iron Man costume, and he was already learning how to walk at the end of Civil War, and if Tony Stark has taught us anything, he can fix anyone at any time. And all the way, also, you don't even need Tony Stark to operate an Iron Man armor. So Rhodey could have been at home watching fucking Netflix with a pair of glasses on and controlled War Machine.
Yep.
Yeah. Could have just sent Vision, honestly.
You didn't send anybody with one of the most dangerous shipments. You're talking one of the most dangerous set of weapons literally on our planet. You sent nobody with it.
Literally, if you pay attention to the manifest, it's like Happy's reading it off. He goes, and I think that's the Hulkbuster armor, and I think that's it.
Yeah, you sent nobody with that?
That's already on it?
Well, as a technicality, Happy was the one in charge, not Tony.
And not even he went with it.
This part was all about Happy fucking up.
Yeah, but we don't have an Avenger or anybody that we can send with the most dangerous shipment of weapons, like, in New York.
Yeah, it's like they didn't have enough money to afford another Avenger.
And it will literally be flying through New York. Like, easily the worst possible idea ever. And we send nobody with it. And it's taking off from Stark Tower, and still we can't even get an automated Iron Man armor?
Oh, wait.
Happy didn't request one.
That also brings up something else that we kind of mentioned on the way returning from the theater. It's like, how many actual Avengers are that Tony has as a team to help him?
Well,
technically,
he's got Vision. He's got
Vision.
No, we got more.
No, Scarlet Witch.
No, she's on the run.
She's on the run.
No.
What do you mean no? She threw.
Oh yeah, she
fucking threw Vision to the center of the planet.
Yeah, she got locked up and
because she has hex powers.
So they have Vision.
No, they have more than that. He was building the team. He was literally putting a team together at the end of the Avengers, or if nothing else, this would have been another chance to introduce another Avenger on top of it. That, look, what's one of the most famous comic books in Marvel history? Marvel Team-Ups. What is Marvel Team-Ups? When Spider-Man teams up with random Marvel guy. Introduce an Avenger. He was on the plane. You can have him fight for a while. He gets thrown off the plane. Spider-Man is like, well, poop. Looks like it's up to me. Could have introduced somebody right then.
Yeah. A new Avenger they could have introduced, but nope.
Let's see. Let me go through my roster. I'll see if I can't name off somebody that could have been on that.
For what it's worth, it was a damn good fight. It's damn
Yeah.
good. I like that it was on the plane. I like that nobody else has had that fight. I can't think of a single person in MCU that's had that fight. We've had fights on toy trains and fights in aircraft carriers and fights in the busy
Helicarrier.
streets and fights on the helicarrier and fights. We've had fights everywhere, but nobody's fought on a plane like whilst the plane is in motion. On top of it, nobody's had that fight, so that was really good. He says number 2. Peter struggled to move rock.
Oh, when he had the building on him.
When he was buried
Yeah.
under it, and they did the Bill moment.
Now, I
Yeah.
will say
What
this.
you call it?
That's a good scene. It's
A
pretty
little
powerful.
Homage to the moment in the comics.
Yes, it was an homage to the lifting event in the comics where the building fell on him and he was suffocating underneath all the rubble, and then he
That
started
Doc Ock?
thinking, yeah, you know exactly. In fact, guess what run that was? Because you know exactly where I'm talking about, and he
Yeah, Doc
lifted
Ock.
that building.
Yeah, it was an arc where he was, I guess, some of the early stages of his feud with Doc Ock, and he knocked down some rubble onto him, and he had to think about the people he was trying to protect, and it gave him the courage to lift it up.
Yep, and all the water was running down him. It's a very famous moment. And it's that right there that maybe, I mean, there's always the possibility we're only getting one Spider-Man movie. So maybe they felt like they had to use what they could use as quick as they could use it, but both Aunt May and the lifting, I think, happened too soon. That was the kind of scene that they could have used in the next movie to really or you know what? You want to really use that scene and give it some weight? That should have been the Sinister Six moment. When the 6 guys beat him, they topple a building on top of him, they walk out, they've done it. They're going on to do the evil deed, and he's like, I can't let this be the end. Fucking moment, inspiration, lift a building. But instead we got fucking my Uncle Tony told me that I gotta be a man with or without the suit. Uncle Tony! And he lifted up the building.
Uncle Tony.
Come on, Spider-Man. Come on, Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Uncle Tony inspiration moment really got to me.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell.
Should have been
Surely the salt is not real.
should have been an Uncle Ben moment. Should have been an Aunt May moment. Should have been all the people that depend on me moment. Should have been a this girlfriend moment. Should have been a multitude of different things other than Uncle Tony.
No, I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement on that one.
His third remark, replacing the one that we've already talked about, he really likes the Spider-Man rescues his friends in the elevator. I agree.
Yeah.
Great scene, very well played.
In fact, I almost thought that was gonna replace for the Gwen Stacy moment when he the elevator slips out from underneath of his feet and he's like, oh shit, I still got to save her. It's like, oh, here it comes.
And, breaking her.
There's one thing about that scene. Everybody knows that I have a very analytical nature. When that scene came up and immediately it switched to the Vulture so he could turn around and watch that scene, I knew on his face immediately he was her dad. I knew it. And I said to myself, oh, that's going to be her father. And then I said to myself, no, that's not right. He can't be, because that's not right. And he's never been her father, never will be her father, never should be her father, so no, they're not going to do that. Sure enough.
But
By the way,
then
Bill,
they
big
did.
reveal.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
wait, Bill.
It said spoilers on the video.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they open that door, and he's her dad. And I was like, I really was. When I first seen it, I was like, oh, that's good. Wait, that is horrifically fucking wrong. It's like,
What a good twist!
it is a good twist. It works with the Spider-Man irony.
Shyamalamakan.
Right.
What a twist! I mean, twist!
So yes, yeah. I thought that scene was well played. Very well played. I enjoyed it. And I also liked that he fell down the elevator at the end, and Flash was like, "Are you really Peter Parker's friend? I'm a douche." I thought that was great.
The elevator scene was a great scene, but the stuff leading up to it, Peter trying to get up the building and into it is...
Yeah.
Bill was really mad about that too.
That did irritate me. He should have been able to get up that... Look, I looked the Washington Monument up, and it says that it's like 555 feet. And Peter Parker can jump from a standstill, not running, from a standstill. He can jump 4 stories up in one jump.
Yeah.
All right, that's 40 feet.
Yeah. Jump, then jump again. And yes, he can do that while on a building. And he has the web. He could have jumped 4 stories, landed on the monument, shot a web nearly up to the top of it, and then pulled and jumped and crossed about 6 stories easily. 2 jumps.
Yep. 2 jumps, possibly 3.
Well, I'm just saying because
until he gets up there and realizes bulletproof glass. Oh shit, this is going to take a little more than I thought.
His 4-story jump relatively is somewhere around like 48 feet or something like that, like per jump. And with the web, or even that's what I mean. This Spider-Man is untested. He never taught himself anything or learned anything. He doesn't know about the way that the webs can be used to slingshot him yet. He could have shot the webs up, pulled himself, and torpedoed himself at least 100 feet up in one go.
Yeah, because I even thought about that while he's doing it. I'm like, just fucking slingshot your ass. What are you doing?
And then while he was going up, he was slipping.
Yeah, slipping and sliding.
Yeah, slipping, sliding,
Just like on the plane.
like he ran a marathon.
On the plane, the reason I let it go is because he was fighting against the air current that you would experience on a plane. If you stand up on a train, it's a magnificent feat. Like
it could also have to do something with, you know, the material that the plane's made out of too.
But then again, he was also slipping and sliding, chasing that van too. So
that's what I mean. Yeah, he kept sliding everywhere. Like, what is wrong with his powers?
Well, chasing after the van is one thing, though, because they did actually have some of the shingles slide out from under his feet. So that I'll give it some leeway on, but yeah, that's still...
So yeah, there's that. Before we go to his next question, let me finish the 2 things, because I said I wanted to bring up 3 major things that we discuss. One was the Aunt May knows too soon. 2... what are your real thoughts? Now, we've talked a lot. Rate this movie. You don't have to actually put a rating on it. I don't need a 1 out of 10 or anything like that. But rate this movie. What do you really think? Because I say that the movie is... I think the movie is good. I honestly think it's worth a watch. If you like the Marvel movies, this one is strong. If you're a Spider-Man fan... you read the comic books, you know, you read the comic books, you watch the series, you play the games, you know Spider-Man. There's a lot in this movie that will bother you.
Yeah.
Even if your only association is through the 5 movies that they've done so far, there's still a lot missing or incorrect in this movie. But as a Marvel movie, I think it's a strong fit for the universe.
Yeah,
I really
literally
enjoyed it myself.
I was about to say, to reiterate exactly what I said at the very beginning when we first started, This movie to me is exactly like the Castlevania Netflix series. It's very entertaining. It's a damn good watch. I highly recommend watching it. However, if you are a die-hard fan, you will literally sit and do exactly what we did and nitpick the fuck out of it and be like, that's wrong, that was cool, this is awesome, that's kind of on par, I wish they would have done that a little bit better, that was great, that sucked dick, this is horrible, what the shit, I like this character, and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, how about this, how about go fuck yourself now, I don't even like you anymore. That type of thing. Like, it's definitely worth the watch, but if you're a hardcore fan, just know there's going to be a decent amount of problems.
Okay.
Yeah, I know for me, it's like, overall, if you look at it as just a Marvel cinematic movie, it's a good, fun movie. If you're an actual true fan of Spider-Man, you're going to get annoyed as fuck.
I mean, there are different levels of fans. I mean, I will say this. There's something I despise that happens in some fandoms where people become like elitists. There's no reason not to like this movie, but there's a lot that is wrong about it. So I'm going to say that if your only association with Spider-Man is that you liked those movies and you think this is the best one that he's been in, and your only association with Spider-Man is the movies, well then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being that kind of fan. But keep in the back of your mind that if you like this movie, and let's say you were inspired to really jump in, to web swing off the building directly into the pages and start living the experience with all of us that buy his book every 2 weeks, you're in for a hell of a shock.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is wrong beyond belief.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we're just talking the back issues. We're not talking billionaire Peter Parker issues.
Oh no, some superior shit went down in them books recently. Parker Industries is motherfucking rubble.
Good. All hail Superior Octopus.
That's right. I'm serious.
Well,
It sounds
that's a good thing I got out of it then.
No, in a way, here's the cool thing. Superior Octopus is your savior, Scott. I know it's weird, but Superior Octopus may have just put Spider-Man back on track. Because he is in the process, he just did it, he screwed Parker Industries. Parker Industries is now being blamed for the Hydra takeover. For this Empire thing.
Hydra.
Which means that now Parker Industries is going to face major lawsuits, and whether it's their fault or not, even if they're proven innocent, the company's going to crash and send Parker back to the streets. And the Superior Spider-Man, the Superior Octopus, even went out of his way to destroy the building so that none of that stupid legacy is going to be sticking around. No building, no webware, no nothing. He tarnished their name.
Spider-Man didn't get to build Leo Pardon yet.
He tarnished their name, destroyed the building, wrecked the company. Like, some superior shit just went down in those comic books that's going to take Spider-Man back to his roots. He's about to get back to basics because he's going to have no choice.
Well, then again, there's the legacy stuff that should be bringing him back to basics too, so...
Yeah, but legacy is just a bunch of stuff that's going to happen that will then take us somewhere during the reboot. And just like the DC-52 did still happen, all this crap with Spider-Man did still happen, and is the Superior Octopus that you need to thank for bringing Spider-Man back to Spider-Man.
Well, like I said, I'm not reading it anymore, so...
I get you.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so far I've heard from me. I've heard from Seth. I've heard from Scott. We got 2 more.
Man, Nick already said he enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed the movie. Like, I thought it was actually really well done. I had a lot of laughs, and I think part of that's thanks due to the fact that anytime we go see movies, I sit next to Seth.
Because we MST3K throughout most of the movie.
Yeah, because the two of us don't mind cracking jokes during a movie and don't get looked at and yelled at for doing so.
Unlike assholes that sit behind us and use their flashlight and WD-40 and talk through the entire movie because they didn't give a fuck enough to be there.
Yeah, I
They just
noticed.
wanted an excuse to get out of the house.
I heard
But it's
them
like-
the whole movie.
The fight scenes were entertaining. You know, the little bits where he, actually did crack jokes, I laughed quite a bit. I didn't hate on the Tony thing, but that's because I love Robert Downey Jr. and honestly, Iron Man's my favorite out of the DCU, but he's tied now with one
DCU?
other guy. Or not DCU, MCU. Sorry, dude. I was.
No, it's all good. I was like,
I'm
wrong
half
universe.
awake. I'm half awake. You know what I meant.
No, I know
There's
the
so
feels.
many all the Batman references in the movie without actually being Batman references kind of fucked me up. Like, there was multiple times where me and Seth were sitting there just going, oh, hey, that's a Batman thing. Oh, hey, look, more Batman thing. And the fact that Michael Keaton played such a damn good Vulture and how he pulled from both Batman, and me and Seth honestly agree that he also pulled from Beetlejuice, because he was creepy as fuck near the end. I was like, ooh, cold chills. Oh, what the
Yeah,
shit?
he was-
Yeah, but I would argue.
Happened to Beetlejuice?
I would argue that he used Batman.
He
I don't
used
know.
Batman way more, but
Well,
Yeah.
at the very end, when he was sitting there in that at the stoplight, and that green light from the traffic light hit his face, he just had that look on his face, and
Like
from
he's
that
going-
point on, it was just like, oh
how
god.
long has it been since you've seen the Batman movies? Because, like, the Bruce Wayne parts of those movies are almost disturbing. Like, Bruce Wayne is obviously
You wanna get
crazy.
nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah, holy shit. Like, when he challenges the Joker, and, like, when he talks about his past, like, he's psychologically broken in those Tim Burton movies, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He
I
should
know
probably
that,
go
but-
to Arkham 2.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. Yeah, he would just break out because he's Batman.
I don't know. Does Tom King write that universe? Because,
I don't know.
oh,
That's on you. I don't read the comics.
oh, why not? Why
I
not?
don't-
Why
I
would
don't
you?
have
Why
the
would
money
you?
for comics.
Why would you? Why would you think that Tom King should not write every universe ever? What?
Why? Why? Aren't they the most greatest thing ever with, 3 lines of dialogue throughout the entire book?
It's hard to get through, isn't it?
Don't take away the venom!
Dude, it's not just that. It's being praised as like the best Batman story ever put on paper. Like it sells out of stores. I think it's been #1 on the comic fucking sales list for a while now. Like, Tom King is being praised as the best writer Batman has ever had. And I think it's the worst Batman I've ever read. Keep going. Yeah, I mean, let's get back to Nick, because we're starting to run a long show.
Yeah.
It's long enough that I actually just stepped outside for a cigarette.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's like the movie was really good. I liked all the different parts. The character development was really good for me. I had a lot of good laughs. I'm actually hoping they come out with a second Spider-Man movie. I'm looking forward to see what he does in the Infinity War also, though. So it's nice seeing Spider-Man actually make it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is something that's awesome. I was never huge on Spider-Man. My whole experience with Spider-Man is some of the video games and the 90s cartoon. And all of the memes. All of the memes. Sassy Spider-Man is the best.
Yeah, I'm just back here behind this desk and masturbating.
Oh, the behind the desk, by the way, that behind the desk. Remember when I told you some superior stuff is going down? The Superior Spider-Man, the opening scene that introduces him, Parker opens the doors to his office, and the Superior Spider-Man is sitting behind the desk in the dark, and he's even got his hands in that same little way. He's sitting behind the desk just like the Spider-Man meme.
That is amazing.
It was
awesome.
very superior.
Again, all hail Superior Octopus.
So, but honestly, I would honestly tell people, you know, even if you don't really 100% like Spider-Man, go see the movie. You'll have a good time. Like, I might actually force Jules to watch this at some point when it comes out on DVD and stuff. Because I'd be like, look, I know you hate a Spidey-Man. Just watch it. So, I rate this pretty high. This is one of the better. This is one of the good movies I've seen this year.
So we got you, Shane.
Damn right she is. Hey!
But you're still hardcore butthurt about them making fun of the CW shows?
Especially The Flash.
I know.
Still not the worst. That goes to Spider-Man 3.
I was to say, it's pretty hard to become the worst, to be fair.
Yeah.
You really gotta try now. And actually, I would tell you there's one movie worse than the Spider-Man 3. But you would know nothing about it, to be fair. But no, it would be the 1970s made-for-TV movie Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say. Are you about to reference the fucking
the miniseries
1970s?
TV series?
That shit is
The
bad.
fucking suit doesn't even
Shit
fit
is
the guy.
awful.
Wait, is it as bad as the Captain America movie for TV?
Go watch it.
It's along the
think I'm
exact
good.
same lines, yes.
I'm good.
Okay, so my last thing. This is going to be a tough one before we get to his question, because he did drop one more question. Okay, let's say, for the sake of argument, you had to put the Spider-Man movies in an order, worst to best, out of the 6 that exist now. Make a top 6 list to close this.
Do we have
let
to
me
go
go
from
first.
worst to best?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I could do from worst to best. Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Well, actually, one of them is already filled in for everybody. It's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
3.
for everybody, yeah, the absolute worst is 3.
Honestly, it's 5 to 1 is what we had to place.
Okay, I will agree with this statement because I think I'm putting it there as well. I think that the third movie is my number 6. What's people's number 5? I agree. I'm going Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'll have to
Nah.
agree.
I'm a little torn on the
I
Amazing
really
Spider-Man
liked
1.
those.
I'm torn Amazing Spider-Man 1 or Amazing Spider-Man 2. And you know what? I might give it to the Amazing Spider-Man 1 for my 5th.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Is I'm probably gonna go with Amazing 1.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 has the death of Gwen Stacy, and it was played very well.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And that one moment by itself is gripping enough for me to keep it off the 5th spot.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, the second Amazing Spider-Man's gonna be number 5. It's...
Okay. I went Amazing Spider-Man 1 on that. So now we're on...
I'll agree with you on that one, Bill.
Okay, now we're on spot 4.
This one...
Sam Raimi 1.
Amazing
I'll
1.
agree with Seth. I like
Sam Raimi 1.
I liked Amazing Spider-Man 2 better than I did the Sam Raimi 1.
Okay,
So
we're on 3.
Homecoming.
Yeah, Homecoming.
What do you got, Bill?
Amazing Spider-Man 2 goes in my 3rd spot.
I can agree with that. Because
We're
I did
on
like Homecoming more than I did the second one.
Yeah, I
We're
was
on
about
number
to say,
2.
under normal circumstances, I would have put 2 in that spot for, like Amazing Spider-Man 2 in that spot, but Gwen Stacy pulls it up, so for spot 2, I have to go with Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Let's see, which ones? So the only 2 I have left are Homecoming and Spider-Man
Raimi 2. Yep.
So, and I'll have to give slot 2 to Homecoming. It wasn't the best,
Same here.
but it was damn close.
Yep, I'm slot 2 on Homecoming, because I think that Homecoming, if all you're doing, aside from pointing out all the flaws, if all you went to do was enjoy a movie, you can very easily do that with this movie. I think that this grips you faster than Part 1. I think that Raimi 1, the reason Raimi 1 gets held back for me is one reason. Origin story. I already fucking know.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, number 2 is going to be the first Spider-Man movie.
Same here.
Yeah, I think that Spider-Man 2 knocked it out of the park in a way that almost cannot be topped. He threw down his list. His list is number 6, The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 5, Spider-Man 3. He actually thought The Amazing Spider-Man was worse than Spider-Man 3. Number 4, Spider-Man 2. Yeah, wait.
What?
Number 4 was
Spider-
Spider-Man 2. Number 3 is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 2 is Spider-Man
I
Homecoming.
think he meant Spider-Man 1.
Number 1 is Spider-Man Original.
I think he was... Oh, was it? Oh, maybe.
Yeah, he went best to worst, so I read it in reverse.
Oh, okay.
So he thinks the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie is the best. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody has their own likes and dislikes. This show is not, though it sounded like it, this show is not meant to bash comic books or your favorite movies. It's just a bunch of nerds talking about their opinions, and let's be honest, fans get crazy about details. It's something that we do, and I made it a point to say multiple times that though we're talking a lot of shit about this Spider-Man movie, this is a good film.
Yeah.
So the last thing, in order to close this out, he did ask one question. I'll answer it before we cut out here. Is there any predictions for Spider-Man sequel?
Well, we kind of have one that was revealed.
Oh, I know exactly what they're about to do. There's no doubt in my mind. I know where this is going.
Yep.
Okay.
Because from what I heard, there was going to be another Avenger appearance.
The Vulture has taken the spot of Dr. Octopus. We have a Shocker. We have a Shocker. We have a Vulture.
Oh, now we need a Spocker.
We have a Scorpion. Scorpion will get his powers in the next movie. Vulture will get released because of something. And I know the Vulture is not going to go to prison. And the reason I know is because they're hinting at it with him moving the family out and away and things like that. He's about to make a move.
For the trial.
He's about to make a move. I don't know what, but he might even have somebody coming for him that's going to rip the trial apart and set him free. And what's he going to do? He's probably going to help outfit a couple of people. And I think we're looking at the makings. If not in the next movie, they're going to set up another 2 villains. And they're going to give powers to some of the other guys that don't have them. Then, what's going to happen here is the third movie, or probably even some sort of weird event movie, is going to be the Sinister Six. They're already building to it.
Yeah, they tried to force it in The Amazing.
Right.
So
but Marvel's good about building.
Yeah, it would be actually nice to have them build it up correctly, so that way we can actually, I don't know, have a legitimate movie. I'd be down with seeing it. Rhino, Scorpion,
Chameleon.
Yep.
Then again, so is Kraven and Mysterio.
If you want to get technical, there's been a couple of Sinister Six groups. So they could pull from quite a lot of characters, but they're already setting it up. The original was like Sandman, Dr. Octopus. I'm trying to remember here. It's the first Spider-Man annual. I think it was the first Spider-Man annual where they fought him. I can't seem to remember exactly who was in the group. I remember when I read the annual.
Electro.
Yep.
Here, I got you. It's Vulture, Electro, Kraven the Hunter, the original Mysterio, and Sandman.
Oh, yep, see?
And then, let's see, in The Amazing Spider-Man with the Return, it was Doc Ock, Electro, Mysterio, Sandman, and Vulture, along with Hobgoblin.
See, not introducing Norman or like if they would have introduced Oscorp during this, you know what would have been amazing is in the next movie, instead of him going to trial, is they're having the trial, and all of a sudden the wall explodes, and this guy flies in throwing pumpkin bombs, and the whole everybody's like, "What in the shit?" And they're running, and the cops are trying to do it, and he throws a bomb and takes out a couple officers, and he flies down and grabs the Vulture by the shirt and flies out the hole in the side of the wall. And as he's flying up, he stops way up in the sky, and he's holding him by the shirt, and he says, "One chance. Those weapons that you were making, I want them. You make them for me now." And he's like, and then whatever can happen, and he could be like, "Am I getting paid?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, you'll get paid." And then right there, you could have introduced that there is a Green Goblin, Oscorp exists, and Norman Osborn is the Goblin. And instead of learning of Parker's identity by following him to an alleyway like the comic did, where it was really goofy and he had a set of binoculars and shit, he could just literally learn Parker's identity through the Vulture. And I'm also curious if that dude that was making all of their equipment, I'm curious if he's the Tinkerer.
Possible.
Actually, because while I'm still on Wikipedia reading, which I know I'm an idiot for reading on Wikipedia, but Civil War Sinister Six lineup is Doc Ock, Grim Reaper, Lizard, Shocker, Vulture, and Trapster. So I'm wondering if it's a possibility that he could be Trapster.
I have a feeling he's the Tinkerer. I really do, because the first couple issues, like, it seems like they're trying pretty hard to stick roughly to some kind of comic book continuity, and the first enemy that he fought that meant something, it definitely was the Vulture, and the Shocker was part of the Enforcers, so that's pretty spot on right there. He's in there early enough. And the enemy after that, really, that was the Scorpion and whatnot. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the next movie is the Enforcers. And if the Enforcers come close to beating him, that would be an exact reason, 100% perfect, guaranteed, legitimate reason to form the Sinister Six, because 4 guys almost kill him. 6 are going to get the job done.
I think I could see in a sequel the rest of the Sinister Six, but I could also see them maybe introducing a Osborn.
I would like to see the Enforcers. If they do it, if the second movie is a take on the Enforcers, and it's Shocker and a couple of his, like he sets up a couple guys, like, I would really be interested to see them do something on the Enforcers. It's a group of villains that's pretty much forgot about nowadays. They're almost a joke if you want to look at references to where they were and where they are today. But if we're starting out with a Spider-Man that basically doesn't even have a spider sense and is pretty much untested and unchallenged, the Enforcers might actually be able to fight him.
Bill.
What?
He is the Tinkerer.
He is the Tinkerer?
He's the Tinkerer.
I told you.
No, I'm looking at the IMDb page, and
you just looked him up?
Tinkerer.
He's the Tinkerer. Yeah. Awesome. If he's the Tinkerer, see, this is what I mean. In a way, they are following continuity to a point. So we could very well, in fact, if they're setting up towards a Sinister Six movie, and we have a Tinkerer who can outfit people, we already have the Vulture, we have the Shocker, the Scorpion is well on his way. Why not introduce Mysterio in the next movie? They could do crazy shit with a Mysterio now, and you know why the Mysterio would work? Because so far, it seems like there is no spider sense. And if there's no spider sense, he's dangerous again. All those holograms and tricks, Spider-Man can't just be like, oh look, snakes, I'm just going to walk through these now. He could be a legitimate bad guy. And if you want to introduce the spider sense later and give there a reason for it to develop, maybe just giving them a chance to write themselves out of the fucking mockery they made with the spider sense. If he fights a bunch of holograms, maybe he always feels this, and he just never knew how to trust it. And when he's up against 1,000 guys that aren't real, that shit will start kicking in, and he might learn to trust it in a movie where he fights against Mysterio. That'd be a perfect way to bring the spider sense in and make it legitimate.
Only if Bill gets to do the voice.
I don't think I can do his voice on this microphone. It'd be awful sounding.
Then again, when he be Fox?
Well, they own the X-Men, but not necessarily the Vanisher.
The greatest of all villain heroes.
That would definitely be something nobody would see coming, I'll tell you that much. Oh man, If anybody ever heard one of them their podcasts and hired me to voice act the Vanisher, right there, I'll fully endorse that movie. The Vanisher ain't nobody's joke. Except everyone's.
Vanisher is the best.
But, alright,
I just want to see the scene, though. He walks up to the freaking dudes sitting at the bank, and they're like, can we help you? Yes, gentlemen. I would like you to direct me to the nearest metropolitan bank.
So I mean, rob it. I mean, save it. Yes. Save.
Yeah. I think that's it for this episode. A little longer than I was expecting, but hey, turned out nice. In case anybody cares one way or another, we are about to end this stream, but I believe that anybody that wants to stay on and play for a while, I might stream for about an hour or so actually playing the game.
I've actually been off of that for a little
Yeah,
bit
Nick
now.
hopped off for like a while ago.
I meant
know
to-
All
Scotty
we
and
were
I
doing
gotta
was
go
just
to
standing
bed.
around. I was like, I'm gonna do something else while we talk, because I have to keep my mind busy. Otherwise,
No, I
Things
got that
happen.
problem of a first shift job I gotta get back to being used to.
And I gotta crash at some point, so.
Dang, everybody's taking off, so I don't know. Maybe I'll be back on here, I don't know. Alright, that's this one then.
I don't know about that. Yeah, Great Balls of Fire is tomorrow, but then again, we could just add it to the pile.
Yeah, I know. We're already backlogged too because we missed the one from tonight.
Tonight.
I thought there was NXT tonight.